The wait is over. I'm going to start working on this Iceman again. It is an IC200 from a long time ago. Obviously, it's bolt-on. It's mahogany body, maple neck. The thing suffered from a pretty bad neck dive. I wasn't real fond of the part down here, so I trimmed that off. I think it's going to look pretty cool. It's going to get the hammered finish, the Rust-Oleum hammered finish stuff. Not black. I'll be using black on it, maybe. It's probably going to get two colors, copper and gold, copper and bronze. I don't know, gold and bronze, I'm not sure, but I'll get that worked out. But the first thing we got to do is take the parts off. I've got special tools for that I got from Stu Mac, and I'll show you how they work. Hello and welcome to Guitars for Bars. I'm your host James, and obviously on this episode we're starting on the Iceman. This is my little tool kit that I got from Stu Mac a long time ago. So I don't have a link for it, but I'm sure if you go to Stu Mac you can find out what it is. It's satin or scatin design, made in China or made in Canada. Look at that, it's made in Canada, not China. Who knows now though? And it's got these little parts that all have a job to do. I'm not sure if that came with the kit. This might be stuff I bought for working on one or more of the other ones. Probably is. I doubt if these came with the kit. I know this did. These and this and this. At least some of this. Okay. Now what these are, this is a knurled deal for unscrewing something. I can't remember. Whoa, I think it's for like, I don't know. When I need it, I'll know what it's for. But there's a little knurling in there so it can slip over something. And one end's metric and one end's standard. But I can't remember right offhand what that's for. I was thinking it was for the jacks, but I'm not sure. Could be for that. Nope, too big for that. I've used it, I just don't remember what for. But this is the part I need. Hopefully. Like I said, it's been a long time since I used this, so I'm liable to screw it all up. That's what these are for. Okay, these go in to that. You gotta have the right one. One's metric, one's standard, I guess. Yeah, well, that one's not going to be the right one. That one's the right one. And then these slip over it like that. Is that right? Like I said, it's been a long time since I used them. Okay, I got it. Feel like an idiot. Like, figure that stuff out first, man, before you go try to make a video, because you look like a moron. Okay, that goes on there like that. We gotta take this off. No, that goes on Who's complicated? Unscrew this first. Okay. All right. Am I missing something? I got to have something to go in that little hole. So that goes through there. That's why that's got to come off farther. Ugh. Pliers, stupid. Okay, we got pliers. Hold on to that. Unscrew that enough. Okay, now that goes in there, and it should leave enough room. It don't. I might go buy me a longer bolt, make it easier. Okay, this gets slipped on there. Make sure I get this where you can see it. Stupid gnat. Okay, that goes on there like that. And then this slips on here. And then you hold that tight. Slide that down over it. Dang. Well, it's not going to be very user-friendly, is it? Okay, let's just try it like this. Hey, I'll get this figured out next time. It won't be so hard. This is how not to use this tool. Okay, now that end goes on there. Like that. And then that goes down through there like that. Oh, I think you're probably supposed to clamp that on so it don't fall off. That's why it's got all these nuts and washers. Okay, that holds that in place. Now, that goes down in there. That slides on there. Yeah, look at that. Okay. And then you got to tighten this down. Now, when you tighten this, it's going to pull that bolt up and pull that stud out. But obviously, you got to have something like a little screwdriver to go in that hole to keep it from turning. And then you just turn the wing nut and keep turning. Until it all comes loose and your part comes out like that. Look at that. Isn't that cool? Makes things a lot easier. Okay, now we'll put this one in this hole. Loosen the wing nut. Whoops. That's why you're supposed to use a wrench. Okay. Slip that over that. Whoops. Complicated. Man, who thought this crap up? Okay. That back in there. Oh, I guess it was that guy that's scotting or shotting. Okay. That probably should have a regular nut so you can use a wrench on it. Let's try this. There's got to be an easier way. I mean, they make a tool so you can do this, but it's kind of a pain in the ass. I guess a ratcheting wrench and a nut would be the easiest. Okay, there it is. That one's out. Now, let's move on to the tailpiece studs. Well, that came out a little too easy for being a tailpiece. You'd think it'd been tighter in there, like the bridge. That bridge one was really tight. So, but once I get paint on it, it'll probably get tighter. You can always put a drop of glue or a piece of little splinters of wood in there. All right, let's get this last one. My cat's snoring. I don't know if you can hear that. Okay, where did I put the little screw? And what this thing does is it helps you get that out without marring your finish. If you're just taking it out, like, let's say you wanted to replace your chrome hardware with some black hardware or some gold hardware, and you weren't going to strip it down like I'm going to do, then you'd use this tool to get that out so you don't booger nothing up. But you can always make one yourself. You know, you can see how it's made. Well, maybe not this bottom part. You could if you got the tools. So there it is. All of those are out nice and cleanly. No damage to the guitar. So the kit comes with all these little Allen screws. Screwing into whatnot. I'm not sure. These might have been something different, but they look like they go with the kit. And you get 2 of these sleeves. And this contraption, which has the hole drilled in it. Otherwise, it's just a regular bolt. Washers and all that good stuff. But it's got 2 of these which have different size slots for different size things that you're going to pull. And then I like to put my stuff, my little parts in baggies. Oh, there it is. I've got a container downstairs that's got the other parts off the guitar already. So those will go into that. Okay, there's that. All right, I'm pretty sure this thing is made for removing the end pin jack, but this one, you know, this rubber thing was on here, and it's so tight, I couldn't get it broke loose with this. It wouldn't work with either one. It just slipped on it. There's not very much tooth there to work with, so I had to use the pliers. And because I had to use the pliers, I boogered it up. That's why you're supposed to use this. But it was in there so tight. And there is a nut on the other side of it that, I don't know, maybe if I'd have undone the nut first a little bit, would have worked better. But I don't really care for these end pin jacks. I'm going to replace it with the regular standard kind of switchcraft jack like that you usually see in the guitars. So I'll probably have to make that hole a little bit bigger. And I've also got several different plates that I can use for that. One thing I always have to do, because I'm not very good at the electronics part of it, is I have to draw a map of how everything's hooked up. So I know it's pretty rough looking, but I can read it, and that's all I need to be able to hook everything back up correctly. I hate this part of the job, the soldering part, both the taking apart and the putting back together. I'm always afraid I'm going to screw something up. A lot of times I have trouble with the switches, get too much solder on it, and end up with a ground problem. This one has the switch up here instead of in the control cavity with everything else. I prefer them to be in the control cavity with everything else because it's just so much wire to have to deal with. I have to take all of these off the switch. Where if they're in the control cavity, all I have to do is disconnect the pickups. But no, I got to take the wire loose that goes from the switch to the pots too. So, pain in the butt. I don't usually like to show you guys when I'm doing electronics, but you're probably interested. I'm using this Weller soldering iron that I got at Home Depot. It's got these cool LED lights on it, so it can help you see what you're doing in the dark. I had bought another one, but it wasn't hot enough for my solder. I've got some old solder here that my dad got when he worked on the space program in the 60s at McDonnell Douglas. Got a couple different sizes of it. So there's enough solder there where I'll never use it up. I've got tons of it. No. The soldering iron came with this funky stuff here. I don't use it, I use the other stuff. The soldering iron that I got from my dad when he worked there back in the 60s no longer works, so I had to buy this. It just burned out after, 50 years. Okay, so I'm going to get a hold of the wire and hope that I don't melt through it. Get the cord out of the way. And hopefully, I know this is a hot soldering iron, and the wire doesn't seem to, the solder on the switch doesn't seem to be, it seems to be a low temperature stuff. So it should come off pretty easy. There we go. Look at that. That came off quick. Man. Come on. You can do it. You can do it. Come on. There we go. That one's off. I always make this stuff so damn small. My eyes aren't as good as they used to be. It's kind of tough to see what I'm doing. Okay, now I got to disconnect everything from the ground. What a mess. I hate that, how they do this with the grounds. I'm just going to heat it up and try to pull the switch off, and hopefully everything comes off. I can't wait to put this crap back together. Okay, there's the switch. No markings, no numbers, nothing. It's just a switch. And there is the spaghetti mess. I'll straighten those wires out and make it easier to put it back together. Okay, I'm going to take it the rest of the way apart. All right, just want to point out, it's got the, I don't know, I want to say it's aluminum, but it's pretty stiff piece of wire for the ground. I don't like that. I'm going to replace that with a piece of copper. I've got lots of scrap copper wire that I salvaged from some telephone line. It works really good for this. One little thing I found interesting is they got a piece of copper tape on here so that the back plate will ground to the shielding paint that's on the inside. I don't know why they didn't just go ahead and put the shielding paint up there. Then it still would have grounded, but that's how they did it. One thing that's important to do, usually, I don't think I'll do it on this one because I'm leaving the pickups in the pickup rings. So it's pretty obvious that's the bridge pickup. And this one is the neck pickup. Now if I take these out to put different pickups in it, I will label these. That says F, which I don't know why. And that says R. So front, rear, I don't know. All right, there it is without all the stuff on it. Ready to be stripped down, shaped the rest of the way, and refinished. Okay, for anybody that's interested, it looks like this was manufactured in June 03. It is a 3 there. It's hard to tell, but I can see it better right here where I'm sitting. There you go. And another thing, I wanted to mention, this neck actually had a shim in it. And I think that's because the clear right here is thick. And back here, it's not thick. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to sand all of this out down to the bare wood. And then I'll probably give it one coat of the primer and leave it, because I don't really want that clear there. Usually there's nothing there. I usually tape that out whenever I paint so I don't get any paint in that pocket, but they didn't do that.